What's going on, everyone? Welcome back to another episode of the Valkyrie podcast. My name's Angela Battle 07, and today I have another special guest here with me. Is Mr. Drew, and he is one of Valkyrie's newest announced XDefiant players. Welcome in, Drew. How you doing, buddy?
I'm doing good. Thanks for having me on. It's exciting.
Yeah. So we were talking the other day. Actually, I think I was in a staff meeting, and Shadow was like, "Hey, Drew really wants to be on the podcast." I was like, "Good, I need somebody. That'll be perfect."
Oh no, as soon as we were listening to the podcast and stuff, I was like, yo, how do I get on this? I want to be on the podcast. I think it's really cool. So
Gotcha. Well, before we get too much further into this, we do want to give a special shout out to our friends and partners over at Gamer Subs, who provide just some of the best formula powder out there for gaming and energy supplements as well. So make sure you head on over to gamersubs.gg, pick yourself up a tub of GG formula, or get yourself a waifu cup, a starter shaker, either or. Make sure you guys use code Valkyrie to get 10% off your entire order while you're there. So, Drew, a lot of people that are going to be watching this are probably going to be very confused when we mention XDefiant. So why don't you, being the subject matter expert, kind of tell us what XDefiant is, so the beautiful people at home can kind of be a little bit more better educated.
Okay, so XDefiant, it's a classic arcade shooter. So the guys who created Modern Warfare 2, Modern Warfare 3, like the old school CODs that we all grew up and love, they kind of came over to Ubisoft and wanted to make something similar to Call of Duty. And then a couple of former professional Call of Duty players are now on the development team as well. So it's a classic arcade shooter. It's super fun. You got special abilities you can use. If you play Call of Duty, it's similar with the gunplay. It's people want to call it a Call of Duty clone. It's its own separate game. It does not play anything similar like that. That's just kind of the short version of what XDefiant actually is.
Gotcha. Now, one of the biggest debates that have been happening in esports in the last few years has been the mouse and keyboard and controller debate. And what I've noticed is that a lot of titles like Call of Duty and stuff like that are 100% controller dominated. Is that the same here in XDefiant, or are we starting to see kind of a reemergence of the old mouse and keyboard?
So if on their Twitter and everything you go through it, the game itself, and I've played it on mouse and key as well, the game itself feels really, really good on mouse and keyboard. I'm just personally a controller player, so I prefer to play on controller. I think it's a good balance. So I don't have a definite answer for that, to be honest. It's a good mix of everybody. A lot of people I play with are on mouse and key, and there's several others who are strictly controller. They don't even know how to operate a mouse and keyboard, to be honest. But
Gotcha. Well, it gives mouse and keyboard players like myself a little bit of hope that maybe we can not compete, but at least have fun playing the game.
Oh no, you would absolutely have fun playing that game if you got into it with mouse and key. It is so smooth. It's amazing.
Good. Well, I will definitely have to try it. I've got the code. I had it. Well, I think that week is passed already. Yeah.
Yes, sir.
I had a code. I played it the last go around. One night, I played maybe 2 maps. And I don't know if I didn't really take the time to dial in my settings as far as sensitivity and stuff. So it felt really clunky at first to me, but I feel like if I'd actually taken the time, gotten my settings smooth, it would have been a lot better. But it was a lot of fun. Kind of getting to play something new and refreshing like that. So I can see where the appeal is. But how did you guys, you and the team, kind of first find XDefiant?
So I found it 2 years ago. One of my buddies that I play with consistently all the time, he was like, "Hey, you should try this game out with me. It's pretty fun. It's called XDefiant." And it was a 2-week open alpha before they even introduced a bunch of stuff. And I got into it and fell in love with it. And then they moved on from this open access to what they called the insider sessions, which was every Friday for 3 weeks in a row. It was set from 6 central to 9 central. and you got to play for 3 hours to test the game, give them data and everything. You got to play with the devs, against the devs, the whole 9 yards. So a lot of us have been doing it for about 2 years.
Oh, outstanding, man. That's awesome. And being able to be a part of a process like that early really helps you develop a love for the game, because you almost feel like a special project that you created. You know what I mean?
Oh, absolutely. I when the beta ended, I spent the next day just sad. I was like, I don't know what to do. I'm not going back to Call of Duty, and I've been just trying to fill this void now because I got to wait for a while. So
I got you. And we're really in like a very cool position to be in as far as organization wise, because XDefiant's not out there yet. You don't see a lot of major esports orgs kind of getting teams already and stuff like that. So I remember in our staff meeting when Tyler kind of brought it up and was like, hey, maybe we should take a look at getting a team. We were all very excited about it, because if this takes off, it puts us in that unique position of being one of the first orgs that have seen it and gotten into the community and the game early. You know what I mean? So I really hope this blows up, not just for the org, but for you guys as well, because it really looks like it will.
I mean, they recently put out some stuff that I was reading actually earlier today. They had over 1 million people access the beta, which is twice as much as they thought would actually access it. So I think it's going to blow up, and with the I can't even say that word. With how much attention it received. You got YouTubers like Jev, TP, and all of them, streamers. They were all streaming it. Scump himself was streaming it. And at one point, Warzone and Modern Warfare 2 combined couldn't touch what the viewers were for XDefiant. So I think it's going to be in a really, really good spot.
Gotcha. And obviously the numbers are a little inflated just because everyone was trying to get a key. But,
oh yeah, true. I mean,
but still, that's good to see, because then that means that the hype is there, that people are interested in it, like you were saying. So that gives me hope for the future. Now, as far as the team of you guys, if you don't mind kind of going in depth of the team, where did you guys meet each other? How did you guys meet each other? And kind of give me the origin story of the squad.
So they were originally a team before I came along. I had my own kind of like pickup team a little bit that I was going to try to compete with. And then they kind of fell out of love with the game. They just weren't feeling it, which was fine. But, as a person, I like to make sure everyone's okay with the decision. So I got asked to sub in for a scrim for them. I said, yeah, I'll sub in, fill whatever role you need me to do. And they liked the way I played and meshed with them. So they asked, they wanted to pick me up. So I asked my team that I was with, hey, is that okay? And they're like, hey, go do you, you have a real shot at this, go for it. So that's how I got brought on board. The rest of them were already kind of together. They've known each other for years. So I'm the newbie, I guess.
Well, hopefully not anymore. Hopefully you guys mesh well. No. How is the chemistry between you guys?
Oh, it's fantastic. I mean, for a while we were waiting for the beta, we were trying to find games to constantly play together to keep our chemistry and everything together, even if we weren't playing well, like on said other games, just because the skill level, we still had fun to get team chemistry up.
Gotcha. Now, do you guys play COD together?
We did. Yes, okay. That was very frustrating times.
Where are you guys at ranked wise?
Atlas hit Crimson. Josh, Destructo, sorry. He would have hit Crimson, but he doesn't like Call of Duty. He's kind of like I am.
Fair enough.
I hit Diamond, and then I think Jukes was close to Diamond.
Gotcha. Okay. And honestly, I feel like a lot of people wanted Crimson more than like the top 250. It's just something about Crimson, like the rewards were just so nice. Like just that beautiful red.
The red and black look really, really good on that. See, like I like the blue and white for Diamond.
Yeah.
I was like, I'm happy I got the Diamond. I'm like, I like this. This is nice. So
we were grinding a lot. I got to gold, and then Mitch, he had a chance to play more than I did. And so, plus, I mean, he comes from a competitive background, so he's obviously better than me. But he got into platinum early. Oh no, I think he actually got into diamond early, and so we couldn't play anymore.
Oh no.
Because once you get into diamond, you can't play with like platinum or below.
Yes.
Yeah. Or I
I
think
think
it's
they
gold and
changed.
below. Sorry, I think it's gold and below. Yeah.
Yeah, I think they changed it midway through the season because of complaints about that.
Yeah. So my grind kind of stopped, and unfortunately, because I wanted to make it to plat. I felt like I could have made it, and that's a mouse and keyboard player trying to play COD.
Yeah,
It's
that's a tough situation.
infuriating, brother. It is infuriating.
Aim assist is ridiculous. But that's coming from a controller player. I have to turn that stuff down on COD.
Really?
It's well, like I'm an AR, so when I'm aiming across the map, if someone runs across, I don't want my gun to go to them. I'm trying to get over the top, so I had to turn it down a little bit and adjust my settings.
Gotcha. So, and you mentioned that you were an AR. So, if you could kind of break down like the different roles and positions, like I said, there's a lot of us, including me, that have zero knowledge as far as XDefiant. So it's really kind of good to have somebody that has really put a lot of time in it. So explain kind of the roles and positions of the team.
So, roles are we can do gun roles. We're still working through the characters. We have a good idea of like the kind of characters we want to run as a team. Just with the style we play. So I'm technically the main AR. So I'm gonna be working the spawns. I'm gonna be holding lanes, be rotating, kind of be the last one around the hill on the backside to ensure that hey, we have the proper spawn. If we get wiped, we can fly right on. Atlas is our flex. So me and him will intertwine every now and then. Like if I'm feeling myself in a match, he'll take over the main AR role for me, so I can go fry and everything, and vice versa. So he kind of does the same thing I do, but he gives more support to the subs up close, while mine's more distance engaged. Destructo, he's our main slayer. You put an MP7 in his hands, man, it's scary.
Really?
It is terrifying. I know it's weird to say this, but scrims, because you have to Q snipe because there's no customs. So when we were doing that, there were several times during scrims, Destructo ended up dropping like 60 during scrims, and it was
Jesus.
I mean, you'd go look at the rest of the scores, be like, oh, 30, 35. It's like, well, I can't get any more when Josh is hogging all the kills over there, Then Jukes, he's the second sub. He does very good. He plays a lot of hill. He backs up Josh a lot. And then we have Nick Tigers as well, because we're still flirting with 4s or 5s. That's a whole situation that the one thing the community is pretty upset about. But he's also like a flex sub type player. He likes AR, but he likes sub. So we kind of let him slay around, do whatever he needs to do. I mean, that's kind of the roles we have right now. Character roles, that's a whole different story. We're still working on that, finding comps that work for us and going down that route.
I know the only two that I tried was I can't even remember, but it was like the flamethrower, and then he had like the molly, the molly.
The molly. Oh, yeah. I play the game. I should know this. So there's Echelon, which is like the intel suit and invisibility guy. You got Phantom, who's the deployable shield and the big bubble thing. That's who I play. Then we have DeadSec, which is the hackers. They are my number one enemy as a Phantom player. I'm not a fan of them. They make my job a lot harder. Then we have Libertad. They're the healers that everyone tend to complain about because they're super strong, super broken. But that's getting fixed. It's a beta, so you do what you can. And then you have then you got the flamethrower. I cannot think of their name for the sake of me. I am so sorry. I know who you're talking about, though.
Yeah. The two I've played is the ghillie suit or the information character. I played that one, and then I played the molly. And like I said, I played like maybe 3 maps, so I didn't get a good dose. I'm hoping next time around I'll be able to actually put some time into it, because like I said, it really does look like a lot of fun.
Oh, it is. When I was reading the article today that Aches put out, Patty Akes is, for the people who don't know, former COD professional. If you do know, you know, all praise to Akes, man. That man's the king right now. Um, so, he put out his little article about, the beta experience and everything, and we are looking forward to. It said they will be back very soon. Take that as you will. As for me, when the word "soon" comes out from them, that's 2-3 weeks. That's usually what the word "soon" means for me. So I'm hoping I'm right again, like usual, but I could be wrong. So
now as far as like esports, I know, holy cow, I know you and I had spoke a little bit before about asking you if you had watched it, and you said you watched a couple episodes. So one of my like favorite questions to ask people is, because we are in an esports organization, is where did you get your entry into gaming? Like, what was your first experience into like gaming?
like my very, very first experience.
Yes.
So, it's one of the weirdest memories I have. I was really little. I was in Germany at the time. My dad was stationed in Bamberg,
Okay.
and I was like 4 years old. I got introduced to playing, I think it was Madden on the PlayStation 1. And that is when I got into gaming. I've always been a big sports guy. And so my first memory is my dad kicking my butt in Madden and laughing at me, I mean, just to make himself feel good because I said I could beat him, but
Been there, done that, my friend. I remember. I can't remember which Madden it was. I think it was like 99, or maybe it was Madden 2001. All I remember is I had like a demo disc, and I remember my dad. It was like the Broncos and the Packers, I believe, right? No, that I can't remember. All I know is that like it was the same situation. I was like, oh, I bet I could beat you, and he just kicked my butt, man, over and over and over again. So I really feel that that experience.
Oh, it is. He kicked my butt all the way up until I was like 14. I never understood. He as more as advanced and advanced, and he would just run things I wasn't used to seeing, and it worked every time. And I'm like, I don't know how to beat you, old man. And he goes, with his famous words to me, he goes, "You can never beat the wise, son." I'm like, all right, Dad, I love you too.
I don't know. That's a little bit of a contradictory statement, being as the hat that you have on your head, though.
Hey, that is the unfortunate circumstances for us. Being Dallas fans, we get a lot of shade thrown at us.
So how did that come? Are you guys from Texas or?
No. So my dad wanted a different team when he was a kid because
Gotcha.
his father was a Denver fan, and
Dude.
hey, they lived in Pennsylvania, so so my grandpa was a Denver fan, and my dad's 3 older brothers, they were Raiders and Steelers fans. So my dad was like, "Yo, I'm not gonna be that," and then he fell in love with Dallas Cowboys at a young age, and it was basically at that point it was, I'm gonna be a Dallas fan the rest of my life. I'm not gonna have a choice here. So
I got you.
It's been a long road of pain and misery.
You guys had some success too. Let's
first rounds, yeah, sure.
well, I mean, there's a reason they call you America's team, so I think you guys will be all right.
I think deep down inside, everybody wants to play with the star on their helmet. I mean,
at least once. Yeah, it's like being in the pinstripes in baseball, right? In a Yankees uniform, everybody would love to have that experience, right?
Just one time.
Yeah. I get it. Yeah. I get it. Now, see, I understand the Steelers because you were living in Pennsylvania. I definitely understand that. But like, I'm a Broncos fan because I grew up in the 90s, so obviously the Broncos were pretty popular then. So makes sense. But how in the world in Pennsylvania?
I have no idea.
I mean, I'll take it. Like, come back. We'll take you back happily. Although Zach and Tyler and I were doing some research before we hopped in here, and Denver doesn't have a pick until like the third round.
Oh no.
For those of
Philly
you
has.
that might be wondering what I'm talking about, the NFL draft is happening like right now as we're recording. Round 1 was like yesterday, so today's Friday, so round 2 is happening now. But
Hey, I mean, Philly's basically Georgia 2.0 at this point. So I'm waiting to give Shadow some crap for that.
he's a Eagles fan, I'm pretty
Unfortunately,
sure.
that's the only issue I have with Shadow is during football season, we are mortal enemies for a while.
This is true. This is true. But I mean, he always has bad taste in football. He loves, the Alabama.
Roll Tide, man. Yeah. I don't know. He's a special character sometimes.
Yeah, we can't hold him. He's thank God he's a lovely human being because his taste is. No, I'm just kidding. Shadow, love you. I know you said that you were a big sports fan. So what all other sports are you into?
I'm a big baseball guy. I actually went to college to play baseball, so like
really?
that is yeah. I was pretty young when I decided I wanted to play baseball. I mean, most everybody is. But like I continued to love the game, so I got lucky to get an opportunity to go play in college. But I had an injury that kind of ended it, so I was just like, hey, I'm gonna go home. There's no point in me being here, so I ended up going home, and that was that. But I'm a big White Sox fan. I know you can't see, but I have a giant White Sox blanket covering the window right here. And I usually have a bunch of White Sox hats that I wear because I just black and white suits me. And unfortunately, my dogs like to eat my hats. So just thankfully glad they haven't got a hold of this one. So
tell me the origin story there. How did you come to be pulling for the White Sox?
So when I was younger, I was actually a Dodgers fan because being a young kid, you look at colors. Blue was for the longest time my favorite color, and the Dodgers were blue. So I was like, oh, I'm a Dodgers fan. I think it was like shortly after the 2005 season with the White Sox. So they won the World Series then. It was like 3-4 years after that when they started to be really, really bad that I started seeing that for some reason I saw them more on TV. I don't know how that works, but like that's when I started seeing them and I started liking a lot of their players, and that's when I became a White Sox fan. And I've loved them ever since, even if they weren't good for a whole decade, but that's okay. They're decent now, so I'm happy.
Gotcha. I love the Braves, man. I've been an Atlanta fan. Again, growing up in the 90s, it's kind of easy to they were the hottest team in the league during the 90s, but I also live in North Carolina, so geographically it makes sense. You know what I mean? So what position did you play?
So in high school I was a shortstop. But I was a bigger shortstop. I was about 225 playing shortstop, which is kind of abnormal. Especially in high school, you usually have the littler guys play there. I got to college and then I played third base.
Okay, I see that. Yeah. And
I got introduced really, really early that third base is the man's corner. I never been scared of the ball in my life. I've always, I've been hit in the face a few times. Nothing big, nothing crazy, And one of the kids came up to bat, and when he hit that ball, it was the hardest ball I've ever seen hit towards me. And I said, I don't know if I want to get in front of that. I mean, I got in front of it, but like it scared the bejesus out of me.
Yep.
Being 85 feet away and then getting the ball hit at 104 mile an hour at me, it was eye opening.
Yep. So in middle school, believe it or not, I was an outfielder. And so like in Little League and stuff like that, I was always bigger, especially for like 9 and 10 and stuff like that. So I was a catcher when I was really young, just because I had an arm. I could throw people out at second. Plus I could block a lot of stuff because I was big, hefty, and husky. But then once I got my growth spurt, I turned into a beanpole. And so they put me in the outfield so I could run. But we were such a bad team, dude. We got blown out. And I remember the next practice, they were making us like infield. Everyone had to do infield practice, and it was working on harder hit ground balls. So I was like, okay, whatever. I'm not scared. I used to be a catcher, right? I had my nose broken by a kid that didn't slide. Whatever.
Oh.
Ground balls don't scare me, right? Dude, about the fifth one that I took, and this is like a grown man coach. I mean, just slapping the ball at us, right? About the fifth one, it comes off the bat. I'm tracking it. I get in front of it. And as I track it down into the glove, I look down and I see just this little pocket in the sand. And I was like, "Oh, that's not good." And the next thing I know, it hit it and it popped up at me. And I thought I had dodged it. So like I flip around, I'm on my stomach, but I feel fine. I'm like, oh, "Okay, I dodged it. Thank God," right? And then I look down and there's blood in the sand, and I'm like, "Oh, that's not good." And then I feel like, and then kind of like the sensation starts to get to you at that point. I felt that something in my mouth was wrong. And it felt like I had all my teeth like knocked out, like on my bottom row, and that they were just like sitting under my tongue. But after further inspection, what had happened is instead of it knocking my teeth out, it bent them backwards a little bit. In my gum. My tongue had actually popped up and over my teeth. So looking back at it now, it was probably stupid of me to do, but I took my tongue, went under my teeth, and pushed them back up.
Oh, I bet that hurt.
Oh, a little bit. But in that moment, you're trying to be tough, right? Because you're around the boys and everything like that. And then I got up and I was like, "Hey, coach, can I go clean off?" Went and cleaned off. I came back. I'm like, "All right, I'm ready to practice." He's like, "No." He's like, he's like, "I called your mom, she's on the way." And I was like, "Come on." So, but dude, that you were talking about, and that still sits with me to this day, and it is kind of a traumatic experience after that, because like now, ground ball would probably scare the bejesus out of me. So I get it.
After that first hit, I that's when it kind of settled in though. I was like, I got recruited for a reason. And I know I'm not scared of the ball. I don't know. I think it was probably just nerves that day during the open scrimmage. And once I fielded that first ball, it was on. I was locked in. I was ready to play.
Mm-hmm. Definitely. So what other sports are you into?
Just mainly football and baseball. I've tried to kind of get into soccer a little bit.
Okay.
I will watch it. And I know this is gonna sound weird, but I don't understand what's going on in soccer. It's amazing. People go and like, I don't really understand, American football, and I'm like, oh, it's actually really simple, And then when I start explaining to it, I'm like, okay, maybe it's not that simple. And I think that's the same way when people try to explain soccer to me or hockey. It's like they go to explain it, I'm like, it just goes over my head. I get so lost.
Sorry, I hear a noise kind of happening in the background here. I apologize. Now see, I'm a very avid like hockey fan. But like growing up, I didn't know anything about it. I was just as lost as you are. But I went to the company I work for gives away tickets every now and then, and I got to sit down like 10 rows behind the glass, and dude, that changes you so much because you get that energy from the crowd and everything when you're down there. And ever since then, I fell in love with it. And again, being in the Carolinas and the Hurricanes and how like passionate those fans are, it's awesome. And then my fiance and I took her to her first game. And now she's a freaking ice head, dude. She can't get enough of it. So by the way, the Canes I think they're actually playing right now. So let's go Canes. Hopefully we can shut down not the Rangers, the Islanders tonight. Now as far as soccer, so what do you struggle with there as far as like understanding
the whole 9 yards? I mean, like I was talking to someone, they were from I forget what country they're from, but they're actually here in Kansas. They go to a university. I just found this out yesterday, about an hour and a half from me, and they were explaining it to me, like the whole yellow card and stuff. And I'm like, I don't understand that. And then like the positions, the only position I know is goalie, and because they can use their hands, they could basically do anything they need to stop the ball from going into the goal. Otherwise, I know no other soccer players can use their hands.
Yep.
And that's about my knowledge of soccer.
I got you. And honestly, soccer and hockey are really very similar too.
Oh, I know.
Yeah.
One's on skates and one's on feet.
Yeah.
That's kind of how I've always looked at it. And
Yeah. So I think like once you kind of figure out one, the other one comes really easily as well. But I think the one sport that everyone struggles with is cricket. Like I cannot be the only one that just has absolutely no idea what's going on in cricket.
oh no, I'm a baseball player and have no idea what cricket
Dude,
does.
and like they're like somebody will hit it out of the park and they're like, "Oh, there's a sixer," and I'm like, "What?"
Is that 6 runs? Is it 6 bases? Like,
And they don't even act like it's a big thing. They're just like, "Yep, all right, there's a sixer," and we're like in America, like if someone hit it at the park, I'd be like, "Let's go," you know.
I think that's the difference between some sports, like the passion between fans,
Yeah.
like you come to the States if you're from Canada or, across the pond and whatnot, and you see these non-athletic people get super excited. They're saying they're, well, you're not a part of the team. Well, no, I am. I've loved these people, this
Yeah.
organization my whole life, like I'm a part of this,
Mhm.
whether you like it or not. I'm going to say we, right? And
Yeah.
I think that's the difference between, I guess Americans in general is we dive into it. Like we're like, we want to be a part of that.
Yeah. Well, I know. I think different, because if you go overseas to like Europe and stuff like that, they're the same way with like football.
Yeah, true.
And then like Pakistan and India, those guys are just super hardcore cricket. I mean, I have the lucky experience of being in a household just because I used to install security systems during a Pakistan Indian cricket match. Oh my God. I mean, these guys are just yelling at the screen. And I mean, they're getting into it. They're cussing at each other. And I'm like, I don't know what's going on, but yeah, I love it.
Get after it, man.
Oh my goodness. So any other sports like golf or anything like that, or is it pretty much?
Oh no, no, I will never. I'm not a golf person.
Oh, come on.
I would, in my honest opinion, and it's not a very popular opinion, I would rather watch paint dry.
Really?
Yeah.
That's
Golf bores me.
A lot of people would say that about baseball nowadays too.
And it blows my mind. They're very similar in a way, like with the mechanics, but like,
Mhm.
I'm just, baseball's loud, rowdy, football's loud and rowdy, and then you kind of got golf where occasionally they get a little loud, on a good shot, and it's like quiet, and I'm like, I don't know. I'd rather have someone yelling at me while I'm trying to hit a ball because it's gonna make me relax more.
Yeah, I get it. But I mean, I think if you play golf, I think it's a difference. You know what I mean? Because then you kind of like understand the pain that or the pleasure that they're going through as far as like when they hit a good shot. Because let me tell you, I have never met a more expensive hobby to be bad at.
Golf, yeah. I don't know. I mean, there's esports too. Esports could get expensive too.
Yeah.
Racing's another one. I know plenty of bad racers out there, and then they'd spend so much money on their car, and couldn't be me, man. I'm happy with my little family car.
Are you talking about like NASCAR? Or are you talking about like drag or
like drag racing?
Okay, I got you. Now, speaking of like NASCAR, I didn't even think to bring that up. Do you dabble in that or anything?
I've watched it a few times. It doesn't pique my interest. It's at the same time you can put it like baseball. It's like, hey, I can take a nap and it's still gonna be on.
Yeah.
So no, I've never been a big racing person. I've always been strictly more football, baseball. I'll watch. I've been watching the NBA playoffs a lot. I prefer college basketball myself.
Yes.
I will watch that. But when it comes to the NBA playoffs, not only because of sports betting itself, because that's an issue, but I like to watch playoff sports. Playoff sports are fun to watch. It's a different environment.
I can't wait, man. Like I'm not a huge gambler at all. Like I'll get a scratch off ticket if I've got extra cash in my pocket. But I just found out that sports gambling is going to be legal next year in North Carolina. So I might start to dabble in sports gambling a little bit. I hear it's a lot of fun.
It is very fun. It's fun when you hit too. It's
well, that's
I
gambling,
hit the other
right?
night. Yeah, right. I hit the other night on the Lakers game, and I was ecstatic. I was like, heck yeah! And then we're trying again tonight.
There you go. There you go. I can't remember who I was to. I think it was Zach. We were having the same conversation about sports. As far as like you and I are alike. Like I love college basketball compared to professional. Like I don't get it. There's just so much more passion. Well, at least it was. I'm starting to notice kind of a shift in college basketball. There's like not as much passion anymore because it's all these one and dones. But like back when it was like teams that stayed together for almost 3-4 years, like their whole like school life, dude, there was so much rivalry, so much emotion and stuff like that, and you got so invested in it. And then like pros, it's just like I feel like it's not there. Like they play, they collect their check, and they're like, okay, I don't care until playoff time. And I'm like, I don't like that, man.
No, I agree. I mean, the same argument can be made for college football. I'm not a college football fan. I've never been a college football fan. I like the NFL because I mean,
I'm
you
the
can make the
way.
same. Yeah, you can make the same argument. Oh, the college kid's so more passionate. Well, I don't know. Nowadays, it's a lot different. A lot of the NFL guys are trying to prove, hey, this is why they signed me for this check, right? Like this is why I signed this contract. I got to prove to everybody else. And I saw that shift in the NFL
Yeah.
compared to a couple years ago, where it was, not even a couple years ago, back in early Odell Diva years, where oh, I had a bad game, I'm gonna throw a fit because you didn't throw me the ball. Like it's a lot different now, and I appreciate that of them.
I just had a brain fart. Sorry, I apologize. I had a topic and then it was gone. I love having ADHD. Sorry about that. So I know we got on a tangent on sports, but so your first, what we were talking about, your first ever experience with like gaming and everything like that. So kind of what got you into as far as like esports? Was it like, COD or something, or was it something else that kind of got you attracted to not the professional side, but the competitive side of gaming? Or
No, it was COD 100%. I mean, my buddy, I think we were freshmen in high school, and he was telling me, "Oh yeah, people get paid to, play Call of Duty." I'm like, "What are you talking about? Like that's not a thing, like, And he's like, "No, no, no, go look this up." And that's when I started following COD esports for a while, and I'm like, I would love to play a video game at the highest level, like, and that's been my secondary dream for the longest time, and that's what got me into the competitive scene of like trying to play games at a high level.
which title did you try first?
I I tried. I think it was Advanced Warfare.
Oof.
I loved Advanced Warfare. That is one of my favorite Call of Duties. I am a huge fan of Advanced Warfare.
No, I can't.
It's, me and my buddy got so the Masters. We got into the Masters division in Advanced Warfare, and then it was like the top like 1,200 players or whatnot. We got really close to cracking the top 1,200, and then went on a big losing streak. And then we're like, okay, let's go play a different game. So, but no, Advanced Warfare has a special place in my heart.
Yeah, I hated all the movement, dude. I hated the like jump packs and everything, like the wall running and stuff. I was like, ugh.
Oh, I love that. I thought that made just such a huge skill gap. And I thought it was, you could tell, the decent players from the bad players, or the really, really good players to the, hey, the good players, but these guys are better.
Yeah, yeah, and that may have been why. Plus, I grew up with Modern Warfare 2, the original MW2, and I feel like that just people, especially 90s kids who are already like nostalgia junkies anyway, like that one was just so perfect for that time period.
So I think my first title was Black Ops 1, and then
Mm.
I got into Modern Warfare 3, and I loved Modern Warfare 3. The Oh, not the ACR, but the CMR, the really slow shooting AR, was one of my favorite guns to use. That was like the only gun I used. Wasn't good, but I sure loved it.
Did you get into zombies at all? Were you a big zombies player? Or
Big zombies fan. Black Ops 2 Zombies, in my opinion, is the best zombies, and you can't beat it.
give me your top 5 maps?
Buried number one. That's the best map they've ever created. Stand by that. Derice is another one of my favorites. Then we got I don't like Transit. Transit's not a good map. Yeah, that's a bad take. I know.
Stepped on toes there.
Yeah, people aren't gonna like that one. Buried. Moon was fun. I enjoyed Moon. It was a different type of aspect. It was weird. It was a lot harder. Shangri-La was another one just because it was hard. I liked the harder maps. It was fun. And I think my last one would probably be Origins with the
Okay.
robots. Because I thought it was cool that a robot could step on you. And the map overall design was really well.
Fair enough. I keep forgetting, but the one with what's his name? The Night of the Living Dead.
Oh, George Romero.
Yes, George Romero.
Yeah, George
yes.
Romero.
Oh, that one all time is my favorite.
I know what map you're talking about, and it's not Call of the Dead.
Is it Call it? No, it might.
No, Call of the Dead is the prison one.
Now I gotta look this up because I'm gonna. George Romero zombie map. Call of the Dead. Yeah, it's Call of the Dead.
Is it Call of the Dead? Huh.
Yep. Oh my god, I love that one, and mostly because just I don't know why really, like the map design is pretty good and everything, but I think it's because of the Avenged Sevenfold like Easter egg.
Yes,
because I love Avenged Sevenfold, so I think that's why.
Big fan.
What was your first album? Was it Unholy Confessions?
I think so.
Yep, everyone. I think either Beast and the Harlot is probably like everyone's like first, or Bad Country. I think it's like their first like introduction to Avenged Sevenfold.
No, they're a good man. I mean, I go back every now and then to put them on my playlist, and then I'm like, oh, I've moved on a little bit, and then I got my taste back, so I remove it from the playlist, and I'm like, okay, I'll get the itch every now and then.
Yeah. Did you hear some of their like once they like got away from the rock scene, then they started singing in Spanish and stuff? I was like, oh, this is really interesting.
Did they really?
Yeah,
It's
really good.
That.
You should look it up. I can't remember the name of the song, but it's really good. It's very interesting.
Wow, that's news to me. I didn't know. I thought they just kind of fell off the face of the earth, to be honest.
No, I think they took I think after the Rev passing, it really took a toll on them.
Oh yeah.
But then they put out I can't remember what album that was. That album was great too. After the Rev passed.
Now you got me curious.
See?
Now you got me curious. I gotta look it up real quick.
Yeah.
Got Spotify right here.
I can't remember the name of the song either. Hold on, we're gonna look this up together, chat. Look at me. I haven't streamed.
Oh, they just released a single.
Did they?
Yeah, it's called Nobody.
Hail to the King. That's another good one.
Oh, great album. Nightmare's a good album.
Nightmare. Yeah, I love that one. Album so
much. They have
an
album called Diamonds in the Rough.
Oh, was it City of Evil? Maybe that was the name of the album, not Unholy Confessions. That was a song. Was Unholy Confessions. City of Evil is the one that had Backcountry on it. Yeah. That's what it was. I got a little
I'm pretty sure Backcountry was the first song I ever heard by them.
Oh yeah, 100%. That one was probably the biggest one. Like I said, that got people kind of introduced to him. So, have you had a chance to see him live?
No, I've only been to one concert in my life.
Which one?
I went to NF.
Not a bad one to be at.
I'm a huge fan of NF, and I was really lucky enough to go see him, and that's the only concert I've ever been to. And big crowds like that kind of make me nervous, so
Same.
I don't tend to venture out too often. But if I get the opportunity, I'll go again. So
I got you. Now, are you like I imagine you're a big music lover.
I listen to a lot of music.
Gotcha. Okay. What is your? Go ahead. Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off.
I listen to everything almost. I don't listen to country. I will not touch country music. I am not a fan of it.
Tyler's Clinching is the Arthur meme right here.
He tells me all the time, you gotta give it another chance, Drew. I'm like, oh, I can't do that. I'm in what I call my mad music. That's what I like to listen to. The alternative metal, essentially, like Falling in Reverse and all of them.
Do you have like a special playlist that you listen to before you compete?
I have certain songs I listen to. There's a few metal songs on there, and then it's mostly rap songs that I'll listen to before I compete, just because like that's just they the song says what I'm thinking, and it helps me get in the right mindset.
Okay.
I used to do it for baseball too. There's always a few certain songs that like before 10 minutes before the game I would listen to those 2-3 songs, and it would put me in the right mindset, and I was ready to go. It helped me flip the switch.
Can we get a sneak peek into the Drew
Yeah,
playlist? What songs are those?
So the one song that really gets me ready to go, it's by AK. He's one of my favorite artists to listen to. Oh, I have the playlist here.
Uh-oh.
I like a lot of his music, so I have a lot of it on here. Where did it go? Uh-oh.
Oh no,
No,
we lost his playlist. Oh no.
we just lost the song. I don't know where it went. Good Thing by AK. That is one of my like go-to songs when I'm trying to get into it.
Okay.
And then I have another song. I think it's right up here. I can tell you, I'll listen to songs, but for the love of me, I can't remember some of their names. It's just kind of who I am a little bit.
I got you. No worries.
I'll know lyrics off the top of my head like crazy, but I cannot tell you the song. I Am Defiant by The Siege is another one. I'm a big fan of. A while ago, I made a home run montage, and from MLB The Show 19, and one of their songs is the song I used for it. That song is called Outside, I believe. And then the third song I like to listen to before a match or like competing is honestly probably Popular Monster by Falling in Reverse.
Yes.
That one gets me going. I found a few other songs that I really like to listen to. Red by Gone, Gawne. He's another like upcoming artist that I really like to listen to. I like that song by him. Because he just did an album with a bunch of features with Tech-9, which I'm a huge fan of, being close to the area. So that's about it off the top of my head.
Gotcha. I like it. I know right before I like good Lord, man. When I was casting, I had like a couple of songs that I like had to play in my kind of like 15 minute starting period to kind of get me hyped up, because it got the energy flowing. So like I felt like that was important for me, and I can only imagine as a performer or as a competitor, like you have to have that juice as well. So I appreciate a good playlist. So we were talking about you getting into competitive play and everything like that. Do you have any like special moments that you had in your career as far as like any competitions or tournaments you won, or kind of like any crazy stories from there?
In the early stages of Rogue Company, bad game, terrible game.
Really?
It was fun. Don't get me wrong. I had fun playing it, but I think it came out at the wrong time. It came out when a lot of games were still, not doing poorly with their development and everything. So I think it just came out at the wrong time. Where I think XDefiant is also coming out at the right time. So Rogue in the early stages, like it was towards the end of like what they called the beginning stages of the open beta, that they'd been in beta for a year. So it was at the early stages of that I started competing with Shadow, actually. And
the truth comes out.
Yeah, I competed with good old Shadow for a little bit. He's nasty DMR shot. I back him on that. We have several clips of him shooting random things out of the air and getting kills. It's amazing. Uh, we were playing at the time in this big tournament between what they considered the top 4 NA teams and the top 4 EU teams, and we were lucky enough to be a part of that at the time being. We got smoked. I'll be honest. We got manhandled. I'm not even gonna lie to you guys. We got manhandled. We played the last match we played is everyone was on PC and PC had an advantage over console. We had 2 console players. So the announcers were even surprised when like we won a few rounds. They're like, we're surprised these guys win rounds. PlayStation's at such a disadvantage. I'm like, oh, thanks, man. That helps me feel good. And I think we opened up the last match we played. We won the first round, and it was just like a sigh of relief for like all of us instead of being down one right away.
Yeah.
And we were technically on the main stage since it was being an online event, and we all forgot that they could hear us. And all of us but Shadow yelled, "Oh F yeah." And they had to come in and be like, "Hey guys, you can't say that." And we're like, "Oh yeah, sorry. Like it was just a good moment. That is one of my favorite memories of it, is because we came in and we just, yeah.
But I mean, who could blame you? Like heat of the moment like that, you set the tone.
Well, we were playing the best, technically like the best NA team at the time, and so like when we took round 1 on them, we're like, "Yo, this right here is the opportunity for us." Like, we're ahead now. They're in an eco situation. We're sitting good.
Yeah, and I feel like passion belongs in esports. It's such a big thing because that's going to sell tickets from a like performance view of like the esport, but 2, as a competitor, like I treat like esports competitors just like I would regular sports as well. Having passion, love for the game that you're playing, and the will to succeed makes you a better player.
I mean, and it's like everybody forgets too. Everyone's people. You know, in the backstages when the camera's not on, no one's recording. You're hearing a lot of words that cannot be said on TV. I mean, you're hearing a lot of curse words, and it's just that simple. And I understand the way the media works and stuff. You want to be professional. You want to represent everything really well. But I mean, it's a part of the, in the heat of the moment, you're not thinking about, the org you represent or, what you're a part of. You're thinking about that moment of, I just did that. And I'm going to let everybody know I just did that. So I'm sorry if I curse, it comes out.
I forgive you. Thank
you. It was like I was watching the Kings game. De'Aaron Fox, the announcers were laughing about it. You could clearly see him say, "Call the foul" with an extra word in there, and the announcers were laughing at it. I'm like, see, that's what we need more of. You know, like it's normal. It's frustration. It's passion. It's
exactly. Do you stream at all?
I do stream every now and then. Yesterday I streamed this BR called Farlight 84. I think it was a mobile game before it came to PC. I'm having a lot of fun on it. I know Atlas streams more regularly than I do. But I do tend to stream when XDefiant's out. I like to stream that game because that's where I feel most comfortable on,
Yeah. Where do you stream at?
I stream on Twitch.
Okay. Go ahead and plug your name.
Plug my name in it. All right, guys. When I'm live,
your plug skills are.
No, it's not very good. But when I'm live, it's DrewRocks22 at Twitch, guys. Please go drop a follow, tune in. I like to have fun. I make fun of myself more than my chat will make fun of me. So please come in and have fun with me.
We got a couple more minutes here, man. It's just surprising how fast. And I bring this up every single time, but it's just amazing how fast like the time goes. Like every single guest I've had the pleasure of bringing on, I've had great conversations with. Thank God I haven't had a dud yet, because like I don't know how I'm gonna react. Like if I'm like 10 minutes in and I'm like, So, like, what about the weather?
No, once I get comfortable, I get to talking. My fiance tells me all the time. She goes, "Sometimes you just don't shut up." I'm like, "I know, and I said, she goes, "But then there's other times you don't say a word." I'm like, "It's one or the other. You're either getting Silent Joe or Speaky Sam, one of the two."
When do you guys get married?
We get married next week, actually.
Dude, that's awesome. Congratulations, man.
Thank you. It's I have a lot of actually gaming buddies coming down. Shadow was actually supposed to come, but some unfortunate circumstances happened, so um I won't go into detail on that. But yeah, I have a lot of my gaming buddies coming down. It's going to be pretty fun. I think I'm finally getting nervous. I don't want to say that too loud.
You guys got everything planned, everything's paid for, everything like that.
Yep, everything's all set, ready to go. And I honestly I can't wait to just have it happen and then everybody have a good time.
Oh yeah. My fiance and we're getting married in November, so I'm sharing that same excitement. No, November the 12th.
Oh, really? Okay. Yeah. My birthday's around that time, so
there
that's why
I
asked. That's awesome. Congratulations.
Well, my
man.
best man, his birthday's on Veterans Day.
Oh.
Yeah. And then
that's
my
awesome.
sister is on the 10th.
Oh.
So it's just one crazy weekend.
That is going to be that's going to be a wild weekend.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun. We're excited. We've already gotten everything pretty much planned. We're just working on like getting the funds for everything and payment plans and all that stuff. But I'm excited. Just when you finally meet that person, you're ready to like marry your best friend. There's a lot of excitement there. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and I know it's for me. It came out of the blue. So I mean, I think we'd been dating for like 3 months, and I went to talk to my dad, and I was like, "Hey, when did you know mom was the one?" He's like, "Oh, about 3 months in." I'm like, "Okay, so I'm not crazy." I'm like, "I'm not crazy. Like, this is not just me reaching. I'm not crazy." I was like,
Yeah.
"Okay, cool."
Yeah, I think like once like when someone takes care of you way different than anyone else has before in your life, it's like brain altering.
It's awesome. She's been through the rough times with me, and then and she's hasn't left yet, so she still loves me, so we're good.
I joke with my fiance all the time about because we play games together. We play like Valorant and stuff like that. When we get frustrated, I'll joke about her killing me for the life insurance money all the time.
I've been trying to. We're saving money up, but I think eventually I'm gonna get my fiance a good gaming PC, and that way she can when neither of our kids are here, we can go have some fun playing games together.
Oh, what games do you guys play together?
Well, right now she has a Nintendo Switch, so she just kind of plays games on there. If I'm in the living room, I'll just sit there and I'll talk whether if she's listening or not, and then I'll give her crap for. And she's like, and I'm like, oh no. See, that's a man thing right there. I know that one, okay?
What games does she normally play?
No, she plays like a coloring game, I think. She really wants Red Dead on my PlayStation 5, and I am very, very against that being on my console. So
why?
I'm not a fan of the series.
Oh, really?
I was never a fan of it. It's just
didn't enjoy the gameplay, or
Cowboy GTA, and I don't like GTA. So
I mean, it's made by
that's
Rockstar, so yeah, definitely.
Yeah, so like it just wasn't my cup of tea. So like I'd rather not it be on my console. But I'll probably break eventually, and especially once XDefiant comes out, she's gonna need something to do when I'm in here. 12 hours a day.
Yep,
grinding away.
Yep. All right, well, brother, we are closing this thing up, wrapping it up. So we already did your plug for Twitch and everything like that. Where can people find you on social media?
Yeah, follow me on Twitter. It is oh boy. My original @ is taken by someone. Okay. Follow my plug skills, they're showing. Follow me on Twitter. It's Sergeant Smith 22. You'll see a lot of tweets about sports betting. Big fan of that. You'll see sports, and then you'll see me talking about XDefiant and stuff, communicating with the guys in the community. If you want to, you could go to my YouTube. I haven't posted in a while, but my YouTube is also DrewRocks22. TikTok should as well be DrewRocks22. I plan on posting more and more once XDefiant's fully out. So until then, just drop a follow. Help me out.
I appreciate it, Drew. Thank you so much for coming on. One, just actually like volunteering and being like, hey, can I come on the show? And then two, for coming on the show. You've been an outstanding guest, man. Thank you so much for being a part of it.
Well, thank you for having me. It was an awesome opportunity, and I appreciate it. I'll do that whenever you need a person to come on. I'm your guy, man.
Sounds good. Maybe we'll create like our own little sideshow about sports betting or something like that. Because like I said, as soon as it becomes legal, I'm interested.
I got you. But thank you again. It was a wonderful opportunity.
My wallet's probably not happy that I just said that, but it's out in the universe now. So, but yeah, man, it's been an absolute pleasure. Again, folks. Thank you to our sponsors over at GamerSubs. Make sure you head on over to gamersubs.gg, pick you up a tub or a waifu cup. Use code Valkyrie to get 10% off your entire order, or head on over to the website and get yourself some merch as well, or check out our calendar for any of our community events that we do pretty much every Friday night as well. Come hang out, join the Discord, and be a part. I think I can't remember what we're doing this weekend. Let me see the events. Oh, actually, we have a birthday party for Archie. So that'll be really cool. I think we're going to watch some Star Wars for May the 4th and stuff like that. So come on over, join the Discord, and hang out with us. We really, really, really would appreciate it. Drop a follow, drop a like and a comment. Hit that bell as well if you're watching on YouTube. Let me know who you would like to see next on the show or what topic you'd like to see us discuss as well. But thank you for watching. This has been AOB and Drew, and we will see each and every single one of you in the next one. Have a good night.